Hello, guys. Welcome to Ground Zero. Back with another episode. Today I'm joined with Ben. He's going to talk about first time doing his first job. Do you want to start with telling me about yourself and obviously your
Yeah,
experiences?
yeah, of course. Yeah. As you've very well introduced me, my name's Ben, and I'm a marketing freelancer. I'm also a student at Bournemouth University.
Mhm.
As you also said, this whole topic on this podcast will be me talking about my first job last year, first full time job last year, and the ups and downs of doing that as a 18, 19 year old.
Mm.
Really.
Yeah, so, do you want to tell me a bit, obviously, about your background, how you
Yep.
come to obviously the digital marketing world?
Yeah. So my background is obviously everything in terms of my working background and career has been in marketing. I think the reason I got into it is as a child at school, I was always the troublemaker, the class clown. Didn't really know what I was doing at school. I struggled a lot, and I am dyslexic. Um, so I found that when I left school and I had to pick a college course, I
Mm.
felt marketing or business in general. I did a business studies course. Business in general would give me a good foundation, if you like, to
Mm.
what way I want to go. I wasn't entirely sure what industry that I wanted to go
Mhm.
into, so I thought, well, if I pick something, accountancy, business, marketing, operations, I can apply it to any business or industry. If I
Mhm.
learn the principles, then it's all transferable. So I went to Wiltshire College in Salisbury. This would
Mhm.
have been the tail end of 2020, 21. I did a business course there, a level two business studies course. And this story brings me into how I got involved with um, Mark and everything in
Mhm.
Bournemouth as well. I did a level two course, really enjoyed it. We covered all aspects of business, but
Mhm.
I found marketing was the one that I really sort of jumped onto and actually had some sort of relation with and just loved it. Um, because it allowed me to be creative, it allowed
Mhm.
me to be strategic, and I like that. So I did that, and I had the option to continue and do the level three at Wiltshire College, and I didn't like the idea of doing another 2 years um, in subjects that I didn't want to do, i.e., accountancy and operations. I thought I just want to do marketing.
Mhm.
So at the time, Bournemouth and Paul College was the only local college in the area that was offering a marketing course.
Mhm.
And I thought I can't go there because I was only 16 at the time, and I hadn't passed my driving test. So I remember doing the application and just thinking, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's in.
Mhm.
Turned 17, of course, it's still the tail end of lockdown. I'm struggling to get driving lessons, even let alone a test. And I got a phone call from the college, and they said, "Do you want to do the marketing course?" And I said, "Well, I can't do it because I can't. I've got no way of getting to Bournemouth because I haven't got my driver's license." And within 2 weeks of me passing my driving test, I signed up to a 60-mile round trip daily commute to college just so I could do marketing.
Mhm.
And then that's then led me on to employment, and then full circle back into academics where I am today.
You know what? It's funny how our journey is quite similar but so different. Because I also did a level two course. It was like a bundle. Like you did travel and tourism as well with like triple business. Then I did A levels because I still didn't know what I wanted to do. And then it's funny because initially I hated marketing, which is ironic
Mm.
now because now I'm doing digital
Yeah, yeah,
marketing.
yeah,
But
yeah,
now I just because it's the future. It's creative, and you can sort of put what you want on it. Obviously within reason. You can't
yeah.
obviously use vulgar language on it or
No.
do something inappropriate. But you can sort of, I want to experiment with this color, try this
Yeah.
and all that. But no. So how did you come about that first job? Was it you hunted for it, or was it a connection?
Yeah, so my first job, so when I was at Wiltshire College, part of the level two business studies course, it involved me doing work experience.
Mm.
We had to reach a certain amount of hours of work experience, industry experience for
Mhm.
us to get and gain our qualification. So through my dad, I got some work experience at
Mhm.
a fantastic company in Salisbury within the building industry. and that ended rather prematurely, shall we say. And I then had to go and look for another place where I could get my work experience hours. And this was on the tail end of COVID. This is the end of 2021. And it was really hard at first. Lots of companies were turning me away, and I sort of found myself in a position that I didn't expect to be in. It just happened for, some circumstances. And I found myself working at a local holiday park in the New Forest called Green Hill Farm, just working in the cafe. And really, I did that for on and off for a year. And it was during my time at Green Hill Farm, which is owned by Love at Holiday Parks, that I started to sort of think, well, I know how this holiday park works. I've worked in the cafe, which is the hub of the holiday park. All of the guests would come there, have a drink, have a bite to eat, and I started to pick things up. And on my 18th birthday, I had arranged to go to London and have some marketing work experience with the marketing team at Love at Parks. And I really enjoyed it. That was my first taste of the job that I would then go on to do. And I remember, getting the train back and thinking, that's exactly what I want to do. But then went back to go and work in the cafe. And that was really it. And then I would say a couple months later, the founder of the company, Ralph Fraser, great guy, he came down to the holiday park and I said hi, and we started talking, and I can't remember exactly, but I think I mentioned to him that my college course would be coming to an end of the year, and would he have anything particularly, let's stay in touch. And I was invited up to have an interview at the office in London. So I then went up to London. I had this interview. So yes, I was 18 at the time, and I was offered a job. So for about, I can't remember exactly, but for roughly 2 months, I was commuting to London 2 days a week on a Monday and a Tuesday, and then driving 60 miles round trip to Bournemouth on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Which sounds mad actually looking back, but this sort of leads me on to a good point, which I think a lot of people, I don't know how to phrase this, but when you're that age and you have to jump at every opportunity someone gives you. So I thoroughly enjoyed working for those few months in London. And then when my college course did end, I then decided to go full-time in London. And given the nature of the business, Love at Holiday Parks, they've got parks in the northeast, southwest, and also in the New Forest. So the job naturally involved lots of travelling to parts of the country that I'd never been before, particularly in the east of the country, towards Norfolk, and also down to Cornwall as well. So yeah, I was really sort of thrown into a full-time proper job, if you will, at quite a young age. Yeah, that was it.
So obviously, I'm guessing people would understand the process where you get your CV handed. But other than that, what nowadays, if you were gonna, let's say, go back in for a new job, would you go down the traditional route of finding a job advert, applying, or going through more connection based?
Well, I would say so. All of the work that I do now, so just to fill in the gaps with me looking for work now, I worked at Love at Parks for a year and then decided that I wanted to go to university. So when I left the company, I thought, well, I still need to have a job even though I'm going to be at university. So at the moment, I'm a freelancer, and all of the work which I now have, I've got 3 clients on board, has all come from connections and reaching out to people and explaining my current situation, i.e. I'm a student, I'm at Bournemouth University, I'm looking for some freelance work, and purely just by making connections, through various different ways, really, whether that's through friends, family friends, past work colleagues, anything like that. I feel it's really important because actually now, in September when my situation changed, I was able to say, look, guys, this is what I'm doing now. Let's have a chat.
Yeah. So how's that transition from your first job to freelance now? Because obviously you've gone from
They're very different.
probably like a set. I don't know if it was a 9 to 5, but from a set schedule
Yeah.
to I can do it when I want. I can do it from wherever I want.
Yeah, it's very different. Obviously, working in London for your first proper job, working within a corporate environment, it makes you work in a certain way, and I think it's brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed my time. So going to university, it's a different way of working, if you like. I found it. So I find it is different, but I'd say all of the skills that I've built up during my time working in London are absolutely transferable, and not just in terms of work. I feel in terms of work ethic, getting things done. It sets you up in a way where you are on your own, and it can be very scary. You haven't got someone opposite you, on the desk opposite you, to bounce ideas. You are literally on your phone, or on your laptop, and making ads. So it's very different, but also not that different. It's the same work. You just haven't got a big team around you. But I think at the moment, with what I'm doing at university, it works very well being freelance.
And do you see yourself sticking with the freelance, or do you see going back into that job?
At the moment, I'm not too sure. Freelance is working at the moment, especially with university. I've got another 3-4 years to go potentially at BU. So yeah, watch this space. Let's see. Maybe I'm always I'm always open to new opportunities that may come about.
See, when you signed up this, I got excited because I know you did freelance. I was like, it's
Yeah.
gonna be like a first job, first freelance sort of.
Well, yeah, it exactly is. It exactly is. I think me getting my first job was, that's one funny story, and then you've now got the freelance coming into it, which is sort of another new way actually. So yeah, there's lots of lessons really.
Yeah. So what have you learned so far from your first job and first time freelance? Like, what is sort of?
I'd say for me, so my first job, obviously, I lived in Salisbury and going up to London daily. In terms of what I've learned, I'd say it's very. Do you know what? One of the things which I found very difficult as an 18-year-old at the time, to have that balance of work and work life. When you've got friends that are still in college, some taking gap years, some traveling, or or whatever else. Yeah, big lessons. Juggling, constantly juggling. It's one of the things I'd say. And actually, at the moment, I'd say biggest lessons are I think you're on your own, and if you don't get the work done, you won't get paid. Sort of. I think that's quite a good mindset to have, especially with being freelance. Just sort of treating it every day as just rolling with it, really.
So going back on the freelance, I'll give you a hypothetical situation. Let's say you've completed your uni degree and you realise, all right, freelance is sort of my sort of thing. Like, I like this.
Yeah.
What would be your step-by-step plan to grow it?
I think that's a really good question. I think hypothetically, I'd like to be able to take on more work, and I think in turn that would then mean that I would then, I don't know, maybe go down the agency route and start taking
like
on
SMMAs and stuff like that.
start taking there's that. But also I think taking more work on growing the business in terms of people, and I think just push on that way really. I don't know if I will. I don't know if that's the route that I'm meant to take, or whatever else. But I think just who knows? Who knows?
Let's take it back. So obviously you've done your job.
Yeah.
You've done freelance. Let's take them both together. We'll start with your job.
Yeah.
What, for the people listening that want to get into their first job, maybe they're in your position, 16, 17, they want to get into their first job.
Yeah.
What was your starting process from getting there to developing into the job? And the same with the freelance, like how did you start, or how could an alternative route go and develop in?
Yeah, I think it's a tricky question in some regard. I hold my hands up. I haven't had the traditional route into any of the work that I've done.
Is there a traditional route?
Well, in terms of application form, job interview, I haven't had any experience of that, but I'm rather stumped. I'm rather stumped with that one.
All right. Well, with the freelance, obviously, I'm guessing most of your experience has been through connections.
Yes, yeah.
So possibly with connections being the main thing, what was your way about growing that connection base to have that sort of audience?
So for me, and this will be a small plug for you and the media. For me,
well, me as well.
Yeah, of course. So I don't know. So basically, you and the media is run by a chap called Mark Masters. I initially got involved with you and the media back when I was at college, and in essence, you and the media is a global learning marketing community which is predominantly based in the southwest. And I got involved with initially when I was at college. I then stayed in touch with lots of people when I was at work, and now when I've gone to university, I've now used those connections to then get work from, if you like. So I think just building connections, building relationships,
sort of being in that community.
Being in that community, yeah, and especially someone who is so young, I think the biggest takeaway you can get from any experience like that, being a part of a community, is just chat, just chatting to people. Because what you'll find is someone, and I still feel it now, even though I'm 20, people don't want to talk to kids. People don't want to waste their time talking to people. And I think if you can be a part of a community and network with people who will listen to you and take an interest in projects that you're doing, I think it's priceless.
I think from that, the key takeaway is probably just jump in and do it.
Just jump in, yeah. I know, completely. And actually, that comes back to when I was at college. 2 days a week in London, 3 at college. You're just throwing yourself at any opportunity.
Because I know there'll be so many people like, oh, I could do that, but this is holding me back. Or like I did my first public speaking at a lunch club, and it's like I could have easily gone, I haven't done that. I'm not ready. I'm too young. Just do it. Get yourself out there.
In many ways, yes, yeah. Just throw yourself at every opportunity that you can get. Utilize your network, family, friends, anyone that will listen to you and give you the light of day. Just absolutely go for it. And particularly when you're going into new environments, like you just said at the lunch club, standing up in front of 30, 40 people, it can be daunting, but you sort of just have to block it and just think, do you know what? I'm here. Yeah. Not many kids our age get to be in front of an audience of real business people.
Yeah,
just do it.
Yeah,
and then when you come off stage, go and have a cry in the toilets. But just go for it.
Yeah. No, because I think obviously with this community, I think the basis of probably getting your first job or starting your first freelance nowadays, it will be predominantly based around who you know, what you know. Do you know this guy? Can he get you that little sneaking job?
Yeah.
So I think the key now is just, I'm obviously tell me if you agree or disagree, but if you're going for your first freelance role, your first job, it'd be more get into a community or build up like a LinkedIn audience. Then you can sort of bounce off the people that you know rather than here's my CV, and then 70% of companies go,
yeah,
no.
Absolutely. And actually, when I was looking for work experience when I was at college, I was sending my CV out to a ton of companies, and I wouldn't even get a reply. So I think particularly in these initial stages, you've got to start off, building your LinkedIn page, building your network of people, because you never know when you're going to need them. Like in my case, I built it up over 2 years, 2.5 years, and then my plans change, and I'm now at university, and
maybe for people trying to get into this, how would you go about building your LinkedIn as such a young person? Because obviously you'll get like I talked to Ella the other day. She's big on LinkedIn, knows how to. But from like a young perspective, because obviously they've got loads of stuff that they do daily, they've got the experience now.
Yeah.
From a young person perspective, trying to get a foothold in either their job sector or freelance, like you said, what would be like a good way about it?
I would say, so again, from my experience, I set up my LinkedIn page whilst I was at college, and then joined you with the media, so it quickly grew in numbers. But I would say just establish yourself, follow your parents, family, friends, grow the numbers, anyone that will, sort of talk to you, share any advice, maybe potentially follow companies, reach out to people that you aspire, and just get posts out there. Anything you're doing at school, college, university, anything at all, just to show you're a real person, you're doing work. Here's proof of it.
So it's building your personal brand.
Absolutely, yeah. Growing your personal brand, getting it out there. Because actually, you can use your LinkedIn page. You can refer to it and go, "Oh, look, here's some work that I've done beforehand." And
yeah, no, because when I did a episode with Matt, he was on about actual personal website, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. So that's one that I actually don't have, but yeah, again, that's another.
The thing is, he's actually inspired me. That's what I'm going to be working on tonight.
Okay.
Because it's interesting because you sort of have everything on there. So let's say if you set up one, you could have your homepage, which is like, this is me, I'm Ben, this is what I do. Then you can have like a separate tab where it's like, okay, this is my experience.
Yeah.
Then another tab, this is my freelance, and then contact me.
Yeah.
So it's like your own personal space. Because Matt made a good point. It's your own space which you can control.
Yes.
Which is a key thing, which is really good. I think that is going to be the future, your own space which you can control. Because obviously with LinkedIn, you can put out posts, but you can't control who sees it.
Yeah, I like that idea. And actually maybe just thinking about what you said, maybe having both, maybe launching your website.
Yeah, no, that's what he does.
But then shouting about it on LinkedIn. And
that's what he does.
Absolutely. There you go. Yeah.
But is there any extra advice that you want to give out, or anything that you've got on your chest that you want to?
I think for any young person, just get yourself out there, attend events, speak to people. I think if anyone within a business that you would like to go into is prepared to sit down and talk to you, I would absolutely jump at that opportunity if they're happy to share their knowledge, their advice. We just go for a coffee and just introduce yourself and build that network, swap numbers. That to me is a win, because you never know when you're going to need it.
Yeah, because something I just thought of is, I think nowadays a massive issue is confidence.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you've got all these screens, and people go like, they do this and be like, what do I say? What do I do? I don't like this. They've sort of gone into more of an introverted mind rather than extrovert.
Yeah. I think that definitely is a problem within young people.
Would you say that's more of lack of experience, or would you say that's more of a personality trait nowadays?
Do you know what, that's hard. That's hard to say.
I think it's a bit of a mix.
It's a bit of a mix, and I would be lying if I said that I never felt.
I think the key to get over it, especially from my experience, I'm sure your experience, just do it.
Just do it and block it. Just block it out and just do it.
Like you said, do your talk and then go to the toilet after and cry.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know. Well,
that's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
You might have noticed we're in a different setup. Can't actually remember where we were.
I can't remember. Make something up.
It just all went pitch black.
What do you want to
know? I think we were on sort of growing the audience base.
Yeah, advice for growing the audience. Yeah.
No, I think in terms of jobs, we've gone through the majority of it. Is there anything else you'd add?
Not really. I think just sort of reiterating what I said before is, throwing yourself at anything, and anyone that will give you any experience. So and get yourself out there and blocking, a lot of the confidence barriers, which I think
because I think as well, when you go online, there's a lot of people that just throw hate out there just for the sake of it. I think it's just acknowledging that's going to be there, blocking it out, because that can knock on your confidence if you take it to heart.
Completely blocking it out, and just knowing that you're doing your thing and you're making progress in your own way. And I think if that's just by earning and learning for a year, then I think that's the best thing. Personally, I think that's the best experience that you can ever get, just by being around people which are know what they're doing. I think it's priceless.
But no, I mean, there's nothing I want to add unless there's anything. Well,
sounds all good.
The power cut at the perfect time. We'll just round off. In the descriptions, I'll put Ben's social plugs.
Yeah, LinkedIn.
So you can go connect to them and ask them any questions that you may have. Thanks for listening, guys. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Ben.
Thank you. Cheers.
I'm sure we'll come on at some point again.
Ben. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Catch you in a bit.